Welcome to the Explainer. All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to look at two incredible new discoveries that are, well, they're pulling back the curtain on the hidden forces that shape our reality. And what's so cool is that one is happening deep inside our own bodies, while the other is way out there at the very edge of physics.
So for this explainer, we're going to follow two different teams of scientists as they dig into these invisible worlds, the one inside us and the one all around us. And you'll see what they've uncovered is changing how we think about, well, pretty much everything. From something as personal as why you might feel anxious, all the way to the fundamental rules of reality itself.
Okay, let's kick things off with a real puzzle. There's a super common weed killer, right? Glyphosate. And it was suspected of causing anxiety. But here's the kicker. This was happening in animals at exposure levels that regulators, the official bodies, considered totally safe. So what on earth was going on?
Yeah, so that number, 2.0 milligrams per kilogram, that's the magic number. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, that's a perfectly safe dose for long-term exposure. So a team of scientists decided to, really put that to the test. They started giving rats drinking water with that exact amount every single day to see what would happen over time.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. The effects weren't immediate. Not at all. For the first 4 weeks, nothing. The rats seemed totally fine. But then, things started to shift. Slowly. The exposed rats started avoiding open spaces. They got more anxious. By week 14, they were hypervigilant, freezing up at new, harmless objects. It wasn't a sudden poisoning. This was a slow, creeping problem building up over time.
Okay, so the behavior changed. But was there a physical reason? Absolutely. The scientists looked at their brains and found this one specific region, the bed nucleus of the stria terminalis, basically an anxiety center, was lit up, totally overactive. So we have the what. But what was the trigger? And this is the craziest part. The answer wasn't in the brain, it was in the gut.
And here's how the whole chain reaction works. It's a perfect example of what we call the gut-brain axis. See, the glyphosate wasn't directly harming the rat's own cells, no. What it was doing was acting like an antibiotic for a specific, really important type of gut bacteria, lactobacillus. And why does that matter? Well, those little guys are essential for making serotonin, the mood-regulating chemical. So the bacteria die, serotonin production drops, and without that calming influence, the brain's anxiety center just goes haywire.
So think about that for a second. There's a hidden world inside our bodies that's directly influencing our minds. Wild stuff. But what if there's another hidden world, one that governs the entire cosmos? We're going to shift gears now from the microscopic to the subatomic, into the totally bizarre world of quantum physics, because another invisible reality was just confirmed, and it kind of proved one of the greatest scientific minds ever wrong. Well, sort of.
This phrase right here, spooky action at a distance, that came from Albert Einstein. He was talking about quantum entanglement, and he hated the idea. It just seemed wrong to him. It violated his sense of how the universe should work. And for a long, long time, it was mostly just a weird theory, especially when it came to things with actual mass.
So what exactly is entanglement? Well, the key thing to get is that the connection is instantaneous. Imagine you have two linked particles. If you measure one over here and find out its property, you instantly know the property of its partner, even if that partner is on the other side of the galaxy. It's like they're communicating faster than the speed of light, which shouldn't be possible. And that is what Einstein found so spooky.
Okay, so now for the big news. Researchers at the Australian National University finally did it. They actually observed this spooky effect for the first time in atoms. Particles that have mass. And believe me, this was not easy. The lead researcher, Yogesh Sridhar, said that tons of people had tried before and always came up short. But not this time.
And this is why it's such a game changer. See, past experiments had done this with photons, which are particles of light. Photons don't have mass. They don't have to deal with gravity. But this new breakthrough, they used helium atoms. Helium atoms have mass. They're real, tangible stuff. It confirms that actual matter, the stuff you and I are made of, can be linked in this bizarre, spooky way.
So what in the world does a weed killer have in common with quantum physics? I mean, on the surface, absolutely nothing, right? But if you dig a little deeper, you'll see they both force us to look at an invisible world, a hidden reality. They make us question the basic assumptions we have about what's safe and what's even possible.
The takeaways here are just huge. On one hand, the glyphosate study tells us we need to completely reevaluate what we mean by safe. It's not just about our own cells, it's about the entire ecosystem living inside us, our microbiome. And on the other hand, the entanglement experiment forces us to reevaluate reality itself.
It shows that the universe, at its most basic level, is way, way weirder than we ever thought. Both of these discoveries really drive home the same point. Our understanding is always changing as we get better tools to see the unseen.
So what's the big picture here? Well, it seems like whether we're looking deep inside our own gut or out to the furthest reaches of the cosmos, the next great scientific frontier might be hidden right under our noses, in plain sight. Makes you wonder, right? What invisible forces are shaping your world? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.